Bonjour et bienvenue de Art Talk avec moi, Noël Steele. Et ce vidéo est par des drawings en mon livre. Et je veux te parler about les arts des Canadiens et Tom Green aussi. Tu peux I'm sure you will appreciate. Ils sont un grand effort pour moi de maintenir un vocabulaire de francophone. Car je n'ai utilisé ma langue de ma grand-mère frequently. Donc, aussi, when je visitais ou travaillais en Québec, les peuples they want this, veut parler en anglais avec moi. Donc, il fait moi fâché. It makes me mad. But je comprends les raisons de parler en anglais for there. Pour ils skill, I don't know, de langue. Je comprends it, and I hope you understand me too. Because, you know, it's the accents that really get you. And I tried talking to a woman at the Crown Prosecutor, and she was native, obviously, to Quebec. But, you know, the places that I worked in and lived in Trois-Rivières and Quebec City, and briefly in Montreal. And again, you know, just the embarrassment, because it's just like, I grew up with this stuff. I grew up with this culture. And then I go and I'm enthusiastic about speaking that tongue and speaking that language. And then it's just like, why did I even bother? At times, but you know, passion in language is something else entirely. And obviously there's a great connection with Quebec and abstract painting here, right? And then I got to return this really soon. This is a huge book. It weighs about, like, I don't know, like 5 pounds or something like that. It's a huge book. It's made by or written by Ronald Nasgard, and of course it's the abstract painting in Canada, and it covers from the very beginning. Say like the Société Nommée Exhibition 1927. Les événements de la Société Anonyme International Exhibition of Modern Art à la Art Gallery de Toronto en 1927, aidé fill-in les détails de la climate. I don't know, fuck. Again, mon vocabulaire est petit. Fuck. Ma tête is fucking marche pour. All right. So, anyways, and you know, obviously Tom Green's an artist in his own right. You know, as a comedian, because comedian to be a good comedian, you have to be a good actor, right? Acting is art. It takes a lot of effort in order to get the mannerisms right of someone, in order to get the character right. you know, to have a backstory. And this is why actors are so valuable within the intelligence community, or like improv people. And this is where those opportunities lie in when it comes to, say, intelligence operations and military operations. You know, it comes from, you know, isolation and watching people and knowing people very well. And we're very simple, right? People in general are very simple. It's not that hard to figure people out. It really isn't. But the thing is that you got to stop yourself from trying to figure people out and just enjoy them for who they are. You know, the hyper analytical nature can lead us down a road of finding out how the sausage is made. And frankly, if you know how the sausage is made, you might not want to eat it. So I'm going to start with this, right? And I'm going to put this up there because this is an art talk, and I'm going to include design, industrial design, because today I was watching earlier with Dino and Larry Chen in Italy. Those two design houses, or the one was the engine shop, and the other one was the design house, Detail Design. And you know, I've had many opportunities, but you know, motivation doesn't follow. I didn't really want to get into industrial design. But you know, being an aerospace, you know, at least trying to learn how to be an aerospace engineer from hands-on experience, that is industrial design. It's mechanical design and mechanical engineering. And then it's aerospace engineering with the aerodynamics and so on and so forth. And so, in other words, it's a huge team effort to put a single thing together, right? Just like I'm doing right now, you know, the art side of technology, and technology being the tools by which we use to communicate, if not accomplish something. So the tools that I use, you know, is of course this drafting table that we got used. My sister and my father, they picked it up from, I think it was made in Guelph, Ontario here. And I was very tempted to name Tom Green's portrait and to give it the title of Ontario Gothic in reference to the musical act. But I didn't want to steal the thunder away from Ontario Gothic. You know, Ontario Gothic doesn't have the same vibe as Tom Green. And when I was doing this drawing here, of course I just posted this on Facebook. I was listening to some like techno music and Moby. And even David Bowie, you know, Space Oddity. Just, you know, obviously, I don't know if you're really tired of that at all, Major Tom, you know, but you're not a spaceman. So obviously, that's a Biff reference. And again, you know, Canada is such a wealth of entertainers and creative people, and that's why we don't appreciate our entertainers or creative people, because there's just so fucking many of us. What else are we supposed to do during the winter? You know, there's only 4 things to really do during the winter in some places: eat, sleep, fuck, make music, or make art. Repeat. You know, I like the Newfoundlander kitchen party, or Easterner kitchen party tradition, or say in the sugar shacks of Quebec. You know, where these gathering places around a fire. Again, this is part of our culture. Camping, the outdoorsmanship. You know, being in touch with nature, so to speak. And you know, we've become so far removed from those things, and it's like the big city life, right? And so much of Canada is rural. That there's that conflict, and it makes me think of Essex County, right? You know, the loneliness that you can encounter when you leave everything that you know and love, and everything's predictable, and you don't understand those people, and then you're into this foreign land, and you're trying to figure things out, and it's just so obtuse. But thankfully, that wasn't really my experience with Quebec. Not at any point in this so far. Like the people in Trois-Rivières were very warm to me at Premier Aviation. I'm not going to call it AAR, right? And I look forward to sticking around there. I really did. It's just that unfortunate how things go down because of miscommunications or whatever else. You know, when egos prevail, systems fail. And I was learning to be fluent while I was there, right? I remember specifically being able to talk about something technical in Quebecois, And that's a huge accomplishment. But the moment it's there, and then it's gone. There and it's gone. Because if you don't use it, you'll lose it, right? Language is a memory muscle, just like everything else. And so, you know, this is why, you know, in the void of creativity, or the void of the internet and the social media, where creative people get lost amongst the expanse of mediocrity, right? This vacuum of intelligence, and you know, it's just like something simple. A stick figure is more relatable to people than Van Gogh is, for some reason. You know, I don't expect everyone to understand and love art, but nonetheless, you know, here I am, you know, after 30 years of my life, right? And I'm 30, I'm going to be 30, I'll be around 38 this year. Okay, let's get into this. Ta-da! If you want to see a better picture of this, you want to see a better picture of Tom Green here and his horse, or his mule, his chicken, and his dog, Charlie, and Rosetta, I think her name is, the chicken, and I don't recall the mule's name, but nonetheless, next one obviously will probably be the F-35, and this is. You know, this is going to be a call to, say, Larry and Dino, you know. And then, of course, the voodoo, which have all been accomplished within the past week, really. And again, I did this for Peter Robichaux, because this is his favorite airplane. He was an officer in the Canadian military. He had a very long career, and then he started making paintings and drawings about the same time that I was in high school, and I started really putting some effort into it and making myself into, you know, the artist that I am today. So, you know, again, with the design and the art and engineering, there's that perfect mix of being able to create a piece of technology that, just like a Pagani Zonda, right, that is not just functional, but beautiful and enjoyable to just even look at. And, you know, it just is like so decadent that you can't even look at it. Okay. So, you know, I wasn't always, again, I got some drawings here. This is my previous sketchbook, right? So we got the Speedway, 6-speed, some skateboarding, mountain biking, of course, Smokes poutine. That was my fuel for a while, Smokes. And Smokes is still really good. They just, you know, they rode the trends, and that's why they're still around. Anyways, so this one, I would say this car, this profile, right, is inspired by, like, the resto mods of, let's see, I can't exactly remember when. I don't have a date on these. Well, this was probably in 2007. Somewhere around there. Let's look at if there's any previous drawings. Yeah, around 2007, 2008, because I've had this sketchbook for a very long time. Well, this one anyway. This one I've had for close to 10 years, because I don't just draw things. You know, I keep the sketchbook around, and I got into painting a lot more. You know, I was refining my oil painting skills, and well, obviously there's what's happening right now. Right, I'm just still waiting for it to dry. And not having a drafting table is a huge impetus. It's a huge barrier, because it's so much more comfortable to draw like this than it is like this, like on a flat surface, bent over. It's just so much better to have a drafting table. It really is. And I can't wait until the day comes that someone commissions me to build an airplane. All right, so this is the so of course that's a shout out to the Bugatti aircraft, which the guy restored, or he built one, right? But like this, right? It looks like a Mitsuoka, right? Now my nephew likes to draw cars. He likes to come up with his own designs. And like I'm going to move to Hollywood and be a cartoonist. Now I didn't. The reason why I drew it says obviously, oh my God, if I couldn't draw Japan anime, I would die. Because it's like it looks like me. It really does. Yeah. I animate myself, but like my attitude towards anime was because of the people that were fans of it, not necessarily because of the artwork and the efforts gone into cartooning and stuff like this. So I had a Canon, okay, Larry, and Dino. I had a Canon film SLR, which was this. I think it was a Rebel. And like, I think about it, I didn't really need art school because I had art school in high school at CCH with two and a half years of art classes. I hated it. I hated art class. Funny enough, because it was just like, okay, I'm learning how to do all this stuff. And then it's like, and I'm drawing at lunch, and then no one knows about the drawings people knew that I was drawing airplanes at lunch. But I didn't have the enthusiasm to do any other subjects other than what I was interested in. And when I was a teenager, obviously, well, naturally, if you've been paying attention, I was deeply committed to joining the Canadian Forces, and having a career as a pilot. Right, that was my life stream from the grass. For being a rugrat. And like, it didn't happen because of in my last year, I turned down to prove a point, glider when I was 19 years old. That was my last chance to go, and I had something to prove that I could be a better leader than the other people, and I could be a better artist. And that the opportunities given to other people were not their first priorities, and they went for the pilot's licenses for status. They didn't go, except for the one person, which I despise because of what he did, but I'm not going to talk about that. And I don't know what, like, just some favoritism and whatever else, the usual political bullshit. I don't like politics. I really don't. Because I understand people. Frère Jacques, donnez-vous. Something 17, ding ding dong, ding ding dong. Anyways, I was using this as a bookmark, but this is from the AGO, Dali, and Cairo Gia. He blew his mind out. And he's fucking distorted, which is funny because it's Dali, right? And a lot of this stuff I'm not thinking about when you're in the moment, right? You're just trying to concentrate, and then something is fluid state, right? Something just comes out, and it's not exactly what you expect it to be, but at least it was put to paper. And this is another example of one of those designs, right? It was like this. So it's like an NSX mixed with a Ferrari, and maybe a bit of Corvette in there on the hood scoop, and maybe the Chrysler concept car, the one that was the supercar, and of course, like the next 2 pages after is this Nimrod here. So in 2007, those Nimrods were flying over close to Afghanistan doing refueling missions for the Typhoons. And ground pounders, right? Okay, here's more. So this is a Lamborghini-inspired thing and with two-tone body panels. And again, with the era of 2007, this is very much of that time. So it's like this. And this was another Chip Foose or Boyd Coddington inspired resto mod, if not new production. It's a two-door wagon, right? So it's a shooting brake, and I tend to stick to the 5 spokes because they're not as complicated to draw, quite frankly. So that's that. And then I got another one I'll show before I end this video. We'll just try and find something. Maybe one. There we go. That's a good one. I'll show you the E30, right? And also my drawing of Santa Gracia from that time, right? So this one here. So a square body. With vertical lights, and then the evocative of, say, like the Chevy, the Bel Air into the center there, with again with a bit of that center hood bulge. So in my mind, it would probably have something like a V8, a Chevy V8. Okay, negative space drawing. All right, so here's Santa Gracia. This is my only drawing of someone on a mountain bike. And it was not easy at all. I remember it was not easy, and because here you go. And let's see. Okay, so let's do the E30. Because I love the E30, but I'm so burnt out. By the market and everything else at large. Design. I have a design. I also have another aircraft design here, but this is something that's been made. It's very similar to something that's been made. But here's the E30. So I can. Oh yeah, and here's the M3 CSL. So they're like realistic cartoons. I grew up on a lot of old school television and Looney Tunes, and then this was from when I was in Diamond, or working at Diamond Aircraft here. You see like exploded drawings or this was the D-Jet, right? And I did that for my head. I was just thinking about it. Okay, here we go. And then this swordfish. I would call this like a swordfish. Here, this aircraft design. It is a circus. It really is. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to show right now. And then I have this transonic airliner or private jet, which is interesting because of, you know, boom aviation, or what's it? Yeah. The supersonic airliner. It's very similar to the Concorde, but this version here, it's a blended wing design. I would say a bit inspired by the Valkyrie. And I didn't figure out how what I was going to use for the horizontal stabilizer. I didn't put it in there. It probably, you know, then it's so this here, so that's a scramjet in the center. Most of my life, you know. And if I'm gonna loop that back around, this is the thing, is like, you know, again, we have such a gluttony of talent. To quote the sergeant, chief master sergeant. Sorry, your name, Flossie. That's it, Flossie. Sorry, from the other day. And, you know, again, if we don't appreciate the creative arts or the creative people, and we try to replace them with technology, then the whole world ends up being deaf, dumb, and blind, right? And while I claimed an AI image as my own, I was probably the first one to ever do that. Put my signature on it, like found art. Or it's just, you know, there's a lot of tradition and a lot of thought put into everything that I do. They're not all just random, incidental, impulsive actions. Because that's the thing, is that, you know, as I said before earlier today, is that psychopathy is usually used, or is usually the first insult hurled at someone, especially a man, by a woman. Okay, and fuck, and being such a visible person, or so talented, makes it extremely difficult. At least, you know, by my own, you know, even by my own problems, right? That you know, not wanting to be around people so much anymore. That's a blanket statement, okay? If I get to know you and we got some good times going on, then sure, no problem. We could probably be friends. But I don't have energy that much anymore to bring many strangers into my life. It just keep getting, especially again as a person, a very talented person. Everybody wants something from you, and or everyone wants to. Some of us want to be used by you. Some of us want to use you. Yeah. Yeah. Or they don't want to give you the time of day. They don't want to give you the time of day. Let's see. And I'll end this, because I said this in other art talks. Who am I gonna talk about? Because I saw this guy in person in Montreal. He's a famous abstract artist. His name is, again, I'm losing my memory right now. Where is he? Where is he? There it is, Riopel, Jean-Paul Riopel. I saw him in person with some other abstract artists. And this is an example of how we don't appreciate what we have. We're always going after what's American for some reason. But the New York abstract expressionists were inspired by the Montreal automatists, because the automatists preceded, if you look at Pollock, right, Jackson Pollock, like he was making art from (1950), or at least these are ones that were published, through to, well, 1948, 42, 43. But he didn't really, you know, this is what I mean. It takes a long time to develop a language, a visual language that is your own, right? And that's why so much art is unrelatable, is because a lot of people don't know what to say. And when they try to say something, they fail miserably. And the only reason why they're in that position is because of their charisma, and not because of how good they are as an actor, a comedian, a designer, you know. And that's a real shame, you know, because, you know, this painting of Marcel Barbeau, made in 1956, I bet you no one outside of the people that are you know, very knowledgeable and nerdy about art, even know that this painting exists. And I'll show it to you now, right? So it was going on at the same time, right? Barbeau, I'll read this about Barbeau. It was the younger automatists Barbeau, Riopel, and Musso who, even with Bordas disapproved, finally dissolved the last vestiges of figure-ground relations, knitting together their marks into abstract overall compositional unities. Barbeau, who had enrolled at l'École de Meubles in 1942 to study cabinet making, encountered Bordas when he changed his program of study in 1944. He struck up a close friendship with Riopel, began in 1945 to participate in evenings at Bordas's studios, and developed an admiration for Bordas, and whom under his talent and passion for art blossomed. He completed his first abstract pictures in a studio he set up in 1945 in a backyard on Rue Saint-Hubert, who became famous as l'Atelier de Rupel. For a time, he shared the studio with Riopel, Atelier de Ruel. Tabarnak, right? Where they were frequently joined by Musso and by Claude Gavarot. Together, the artists experimented with the non-figurative paintings, in effect creating their own version of action painting. So like futurism sort of thing, independent of what was happening in New York and Europe. If, as always, on a much smaller scale, they experimented with all kinds of paints, industrial, automobile, enamel. They worked on canvas or burlap with brushes, or slapped on paint-soaked strings. So like a line, right? The chalk line. That's probably what they were doing. Boop, boop. Or whatever, you know? Shit. According to Riopel, we had no money to buy anything else. We were painting so quickly that we just grabbed anything we could find. The important thing was to paint for the sake of painting at all costs. It was more destructive than constructive. Musso credited Barbeau with discovering drip painting technique that anticipated or at least paralleled Jackson Pollock's dripping style as in the Chateau of Argol in 1947. When I'm right, I'm right. MMFA, but Barbeau tried it essentially as a chance operation and did not develop it into a full-fledged method of drawing and structuring. So if you go and look at Canadian Gothic, you'll see lots of references, mainly to Van Gogh, quite frankly. It just felt like what was wanted to come out, and not trying to think about what I was doing, right? Just trying to achieve that liquid flow state. As I have with so many so many of these other paintings, trying to escape the depression, quite frankly, and just trying to create something beautiful in that I would love and that would keep me going for the rest of my life. Much more interesting were Barbeau's essays into all-over compositions, which surpass anything that Leduc achieved in the destruction of the object and the suppression of narrative space. The beginnings of it can be seen in the spiritedness of Tumults with Clenched Teeth, 1946. So that's on the next page. But the real affirmation of all over surface literally occurs in some small paintings from 1947, such as Savage Fury or Autumn Delirium. Barbeau, in this little painting, not only held his usual emotionality in check, but laid down his strokes of the spatula in regular, repetitive, quasi-mechanical ordering. For the year 1947, such work is quite without precedent, not only for the degree to which it sacrifices all but the vestiges of automatic spontaneity, but also because of its indifference to composition vis-a-vis the framing rectangle. Bordas did not attempt this kind of picture until the mid-1950s. So, when you're part of the avant-garde, right? And art is all about cycles. It's all about inspiration, then perspiration, inspiration, then perspiration, inspiration, then perspiration. Well, look what you got. You got yourself a freaking painting. Oh my God, it looks really good. What do you do with it now? Oh no, it's not worth anything because no one knows who you are. Holy fuck. Or no one wants to know who you are. That's the thing, is that like Thompson was not part of the group of seven, but he led the group up there into Algonquin as an outdoorsman to show everyone else what was possible in his era, and with enough and passion to get things done. Okay, so that's 38 minutes art talk. We'll call it Canadian Gothic. So, recognition is worth more than money, right? Relationships are worth more than the money. There's no point in being rich and being a loner, right? Look at a lot of these people, the Bitcoin millionaires, right? A lot of them, they're brand new money. They're new money. They don't know exactly what to do with it. And it bothers them that all that money is sitting there in their bank account. And they're just like, I have enough money. I have enough resources to last me the rest of my life. I won't even have to work a day. But then you get into this thing where you fall into these traps of life, right? Either the drugs, women, social movements, whatever, materialism, right? Because that's the thing is that there's a difference between appreciation and materialism. And I'm sure this is something that Larry can talk about, or Andino, the differences between materialism and appreciation. For something that is just, it should not exist. right? And it's that cliche, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I can't believe I get to see all this, the best cars in Italy, right? This is my job, right? This is the life that we create for ourselves. So you should pat yourself on the back and just accept that that's where you are and that's who you are, right? There's no point in questioning, right? The stripes on your back as a tiger. You're just going to be a tiger. Don't make yourself into a vegetarian. Now, so at the London Public Library, yes, I actually was reading this. Thank you. This is a very valuable book. And this was inducted into their possession in December of 2007. Or purchased by them. Very nice book. I got some more reading to do. And I'll probably do an art talk about more Canadian abstract painting, which was initially inspired by the canvas, quite frankly, because the canvas is from Gaspé, and that gives him a unique view and a unique voice. So say we all for one for all. It's a creative union, right? We're the ones making the stuff that inspires other people and gives them a reason to live. That doesn't mean I'm trying to be egotistical at all, but nonetheless, humanity is cooperation, right? Cooperation is implicit to competition. Competition is implicit, or I say is implicit to progress. But what the myth and mythos of progress for progress' sake, like the productivity culture, is what kills the soul, kills creativity, right? When there's a demand for it to be made, and like it's a life or death scenario. If you don't paint that picture, I'm gonna hack your fucking balls off, sort of thing. That attitude is what kills humanity. It really does. At least the human spirit, if we're gonna talk about it in abstract terms. So, anyways. I'll be doing another drawing. It's gonna be a companion piece to this Fairbanks or Fairburn, right? An industrial design like this, right, is there's nothing better than the best tool for the job, right? It's in specializing in something like the Japanese do one thing really well, really well. Is admirable, right? They spend their entire lives perfecting something with such dedication. While I'm holding this, that it's like watching magic happen, right? They just can't. Unbelievable. It makes me darker. I think darkly for a second there of say like Hannibal Lecter, where he turns people into art, and after he kills them, which is fucked up. It's fucked up, and using people as a canvas. It's fucked up. Humanity is, and always has been, fucked up. Thanks for watching this art talk. I hope you appreciate it. And bonne soirée. Focus, you fuck.